My name is Rasheeda Gray, and you're watching A Student's Perspective.
Today, I am speaking with Rasheeda Gray, founder and principal designer at Grayspaced. If you like our conversation today, share, and comment any questions you may have. Okay, so hello, Rasheeda. Thank you for speaking with me today. Would you like to start out by just introducing yourself?
Sure. So, my name is Rasheeda Gray. I am owner and principal designer at Grayspaced Interiors. We are a full service design firm based out of Cheltenham, which is a town right outside of Philadelphia. And we've been in business for almost 5 years.
Oh, so that's so exciting. Also, could you give me some background, maybe like your education or how you got into the design field and kind of where you are now, like how it got you there?
Sure. So I always say I have somewhat of a non-traditional path to interior design. I actually started out in the world of kind of working as a marketing professional. And so I graduated from Westchester University, and I graduated with a degree in marketing and international business. And I kind of, that was my way of expressing my creativity. I've always been a creative, wasn't quite sure exactly to what extent, and took a traditional path, if you will. So went to college and thought, what's the most creative business degree that I could have? And so that's how I landed in marketing. Um, and I started by working with insurance companies, Fortune 500 companies such as State Farm and Chubb and Progressive. And I did a 15-year career in corporate
Wow.
marketing. And, the creativity would not escape me. And I always found myself decorating my own home, giving advice to friends and family. And one day I started to prepare to sell my personal home, put it on the market, and the real estate agent said to me, "You should stage your home." And this was in 2015. And I was like, what does staging mean? So I'm Googling what is staging. And it was kind of fairly new at that time. I followed what Google said. The real estate agent came back to our home a few days or maybe a couple weeks later. I decluttered, depersonalized, and she walked in and she was like, "Oh my goodness, what did you do? This looks amazing." So
Oh,
our home sold to the first person that saw it. And that kind of
goodness.
sparked something in me. I was like, okay, I know I like to decorate, but maybe there's something there. So fast forward to the purchase of the next home because we sold that house. And at that time, I said, I want a fixer upper. And I just kept saying that because I think around that time is when that show kind of came out on
Yeah.
HGTV. And so my husband and I brought a fixer upper, and we did as much DIY as we possibly could. Flooring, paint. I shared it on my personal social media. Friends and family were like, "Oh my goodness, this looks amazing. You should consider doing this." And that's when the light bulb finally officially went off. And so by this time, I already had my undergrad degree and my master's degree in business. And I didn't necessarily want to go back to school and get more student loans. And so I went to Temple University for a certificate in interior decorating, just to kind of wet my chops a bit, and have not looked back since. Fell in love with it, obtained my first client while in school at Temple. And here we are, close to 200 clients later in almost 5 years.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. It's really cool to see, like, to figure out something that you didn't even know you were good at. Like when they said you're really good staging your home and the first person like picked it off the market. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Kind of just like gets you excited for what's next. Um,
absolutely.
I was gonna ask like what was the deciding factor, but it was obviously that you figured out you were so good at it. But I
Relative.
guess since you mentioned you had 200 clients, is there like a project that sticks out and is like your favorite, or maybe a couple that you think of?
Oh, yeah, there's quite a few. Um, I will say one of my favorite client or projects was, well, I love when the client gives us full creative control. So let's say that. That's amazing. I love when there's unlimited budget. So let's say
Yes.
that. So I'm actually working on the project right now that's that way. And quite honestly, I feel like it could be my best work yet, just because the client is just allowing us and trusting us to do the work and to be the designer. And we do have a process where our clients are approving the concept and the design itself, but they have minimal feedback, which is great. um, and it's a residential home. It's 5,000 square feet, and right now we're in the construction phase, so it'll be a few more months before we get to kind of place furniture and things like that and all the textiles. But it's been great. So that's like dream client. And then
Mhm.
I've had the opportunity to do a bit of commercial as well, a small amount. This one kind of borders commercial and residential, but it was a bed and breakfast in Philadelphia. And it was really kind of cool. The owner and the proprietor said to us, we really want to theme the bed and breakfast after Philadelphia music and artist. And so we
Oh.
had the opportunity to decorate a room that was based off of kind of like the neo soul movement in Philadelphia. And then there's a Motown, Philadelphia kind of Motown themed room. So there's artists like Jill Scott and Teddy Pendergrass that we were able to use as inspiration for the bed and breakfast. So that was really fun.
Oh yeah, and you are from Philly, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so that was probably like real close to home, like being able to design for the city you grew up in. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
Um, do you have like any specific process like you and your team go through when starting a new project, or like do you have steps that you take when you go through a project?
Yeah, we do. We do. We really pride ourselves on being a team that has both interior design centered backgrounds as well as business backgrounds. So, for example, my junior designer actually has a construction based background. Her degree is in construction management from Temple University.
Yeah, cool.
And then our um, project manager has a background in accounting and communications.
Mm.
And she's actually studying for her master's right now at Drexel in interior architecture. So, because of our variety of backgrounds and wide range of experience, we like to kind of use that into our process. And so, our process is pretty heavily focused on, I guess, the business side of things. We have a 5 step process, and we tell our clients that it's 5 steps, but we actually just had a team meeting the other day and wrote out every single thing that we do. And I'm sure we forgot so many things, but because it's like second nature, and we were at 101 steps.
Oh my
So,
God.
so while we tell our client 5 to make it very easy and streamlined, there's so many other parts that go into it. But The 5 steps really quickly are all about kind of starting with discovering who the client is. So we start with an online questionnaire, kind of the launch phase. So there's a questionnaire, there's a consultation that happens. And then we also may kind of go through like a mood board phase where we're trying to nail down the exact design style of the client. And then the last part of that project launch is what we call trade day. And that's when we're on site with all of our tradesmen, kind of brainstorming together, gathering estimates from those um, ladies and gentlemen, and just really kind of honing in the exact design plan and specs. And then we go into our phase two, which is the design development and presentation. Now that we have all of that information, we're able to, put our gears to work and execute a plan. And in our phase three, that we say to the client is procurement, and that's when our team is placing all of the orders with all of our vendors. And then step four is the construct project management phase, which often involves construction. So that's when we are just kind of ensuring that the design is being executed in the way that we intended. And then last but not least, step five is the installation phase, and that's when we are kind of bringing everything together on site for the client.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems very simple from like you explaining it, but I'm sure it's like you said, like 100 steps that you actually have to go through.
Yeah,
That sounds very cool.
absolutely.
Oh, okay. So with the pandemic and everything, has there been a lot of changes that you've had to make, or and is there anything that you would like continue to do even after we get to back to normal? If that makes sense. I don't know if you
Right.
understood.
What
Yeah.
is,
Okay.
yeah, I definitely. Um, Normal, what is that, right?
No.
Now that after the pandemic, who knows what our lives will look like. But for us, my design studio is an in-home design studio, and we have a separate entrance, and our team was on site. But as a result of the pandemic, we have been mostly working remotely, which is fine because we kind of worked that way when I started the company. So we're going back to our roots. So we're very equipped to do that. So I think we'll continue to do more of that after the pandemic. For our clients, we have dialed back the number of in-person visits.
Mhm.
So right now, most of our projects, we're doing in-person visits, of course, for the initial consultation. But the design presentation, we're actually presenting virtually. And so if there's materials or samples that we would like for the client to kind of see, touch, and feel, we will send those to them or drop them off in advance. And we're just kind of hopping on the video call to review everything. And then it's really consultation, trade day, and then lastly, the installation is the only time that we're in person with the client right now.
Hmm.
I will say the pandemic, I'm not sure if you guys are hearing this from other designers, but the pandemic has had an interesting effect on our business. It has doubled, if I will, the amount of
Oh,
business that we've received over 2020 and 2021. We've never been busier, which is such a great thing in spite of everything that's going on. And so,
mhm.
as a result, for Grayspace, we're actually hiring 2 new team members. So, it's been a very interesting time filled with all of the emotional and kind of mental turmoil that we're all going through as a result of the pandemic, but also exciting for us as a company because we're
Mhm.
growing and we have amazing clients. And I think what's happening is everyone's home and they're ready to change their
Yeah.
environment.
I was gonna say that I think that like everyone's sitting home and I just need a change or something
Yeah.
to happen. And then you hear about like right when the pandemic started, everyone was going to like Home Depot stores to
Yes.
like home renovate. So it makes sense why you are so busy, and a lot of designers are also so busy.
Yeah.
But but it's good to hear that you're like even despite the pandemic, you're able to hire new people because you need the help. Like that's a great thing.
It
I'm very
is.
happy for you.
Thank you.
So I think what else I would like to ask is, I think if I read correctly, that your next step is furniture. Did I read that correctly?
Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe.
I don't
I
have a deal yet.
Oh, okay.
um,
Um,
but I guess in terms of next steps, we have been fortunate enough to appear on television both locally and nationally. So we love to be Good Day Philadelphia is one of our staples. So we're
Mhm.
usually a regular expert guest on Good Day of Philadelphia. So we'll continue that in the future. But we would love to kind of take the show nationally. And so I would love to explore national television. That's kind of a great fit for our design firm. And then that I'm sure that may lead to some sort of licensing collaboration with furniture manufacturers.
Oh, very cool. So you just mentioned you were on TV. Like, how is that? Can you just tell me how it like kind of weaves into your like everyday life with like how does that work? Being on TV and designing, I
All right,
guess.
I'm taking my glasses off because
That's
they
okay.
are they're distracting me. Okay, I usually use them for the computer, but I can see you. It's close enough. How does that work? Man, it's another job
Yeah.
essentially. So over the summer, I actually filmed 5 episodes of a show on A&E and FYI called Sell This House.
I've heard
And
of it.
yes, and I believe that you guys actually, and this is how I got connected with the show. Um, you interviewed the host of the show, Tanya Meme.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's amazing, and that show, I just did 5 episodes. She does an entire season,
Mhm.
and the 5 episodes was about a good 6 weeks over the summer, about 9 to 5, sometimes a little later, sometimes a little earlier, 4 days a week.
Wow.
And so it was a lot of fun, but it is a lot of work. And you say things, you have to repeat things about 5 times, and
Mhm.
um and you are just kind of waiting around for your turn. And filming in the middle of a pandemic is very interesting because you're wearing masks, and you take them off when you get on camera, and you just have to be extra cautious because there is a team. So everyone was COVID tested, and everyone wore masks and all proper PPE. But that was just another layer of interest. But yeah, it is certainly could be another job. It was so much fun. I would do it again in a heartbeat, but it's you have to prepare for it.
Oh yeah. I'm really looking forward. Like I was trying to find your episodes before
Uh-huh.
this interview, but I couldn't seem to find them. So
Oh, I can tell you. It's okay. I can't see, so I got to put them back on.
no, you're
Sorry.
good.
It's season 10, episodes 9 and 11.
Okay.
And that's
9/11.
what
I would
has
love
been,
to watch them.
yeah, that's what's been released so far. And there's 3 more episodes coming next month. So,
Oh, that's exciting.
yeah.
Ooh. Okay. I guess my next question would be if you could give any advice to your student self, what
Mm.
would it be?
Okay, that's a tricky question for me. Do you want Rashida as a student of marketing, or if I were a student of design?
Maybe both, because I would love to hear. Because like, why did you go into to marketing? Because you said like you wanted to be creative, but then you made the jump. So maybe both, because we are speaking to a lot of like young designers right now, and then maybe people like just like you in marketing that want to make the switch. So I guess
Yeah.
both.
Yeah. Okay. I would tell myself as a student overall, um, to learn as much as possible, to be as curious as possible, to ask as many questions as possible, um, to get as many internships as possible. Um, internships are amazing. And I had an internship, I guess, sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Oh wow.
Um, I'm trying to remember. Oh gosh, it was over 15 years ago. I'll just say that. So yeah, just to be a student in a truest sense of the word, because there's never a time in your life after college that you'll have the opportunity to learn as much as you do and
Mhm.
to kind of fine tune both yourself professionally and personally. So enjoy the moment, soak it up, learn as much as possible. As a marketing student, I would say don't limit yourself. So I kind of got into the school of business and I stayed there. I wanted to be creative. And so I randomly picked, I mean, you pick a major when you're 17 years old. So I won't even
Yeah.
go there, but
Amazing.
right. And you're supposed to do that for the rest of your life. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to. All right. I'm the exact example of that. But as a marketing student, I wish that I would have explored other classes at least to
Mhm.
see exactly what I loved. I kind of stayed within that narrow path and didn't explore outside of that. And so, maybe I should have declared my major later, not I think I did it top of my sophomore year. So yeah, as a marketing student, explore other options. As electives and just see if
Yeah.
that's truly where you want to be. And then as a design student, I was a design student for all of 6 months, 5 years ago. So I don't know if I can give some proper advice, but maybe I would say explore. Yeah, I would explore too. I would explore other career paths or all career paths as much as possible within design. Oh, ingratiate yourself into the industry early on. And that can be done because of our digital age, the way that we live now. You could do it
Mhm.
through podcasts, you could do it through YouTube channels, but find industry professionals that are working in the industry. And if they have a podcast or they have a Facebook group or anything like that, start to absorb those kinds of things because you learn so much. It's such a
Mhm.
big difference, no matter what your major is in college, between what you learn in school and the real world.
Mhm.
Of course, there's some similarities, but you get a richer learning experience when you incorporate the real world as much as possible.
Oh, very cool. I never thought about like maybe looking for like a podcast or anything like that. I've seen a lot of people work on YouTube and everything, but the podcast is very interesting. I'll have to look a lot up.
Yep, yep,
So,
yep. There's some good ones out there. Um, my favorite one is a business design podcast. So I don't know if it's relevant, but it's called A Well Designed Business. And there
mhm.
are 600 episodes, which is
Oh
insane.
wow.
So there's an episode about everything. And then from there, you'll probably be connected to, if you like this, you'll like that kind of thing. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's a good place to start.
Yeah. I think we just talked through all my questions. Is there anything that I missed that you would love to talk about? I know you're so interesting. I would love to just hear anything that you have to say.
um, I, uh, no, I think, what I've learned in my journey is to always just kind of be open to the possibilities, um, to not be afraid to think outside of the box, to not be afraid to have like your own perspective in the design industry, in your own path, whether that is in the area of commercial design, residential design, television design,
Mhm.
um, product design. There's so many different avenues, and I truly think that exploring while you're a student will serve you well, and just really kind of throwing yourself into the industry as soon as possible will be really beneficial in the long run.
Hmm, yeah. Uh, a lot of us here are trying to get what's the word I'm looking for? You just said it. Internships. Don't know
Oh
why I couldn't think of
yeah.
it. We're
Uh-huh.
trying to get internships right now, but because of the pandemic, a lot of people aren't hiring, so it's kind of been tough. But we're all trying to make our way in there. We all want to I've talked to so many people and they've like wanted, like our friends just want to
Yeah.
get in there. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to have that star. We'll see if anyone could get one, but
Right.
yeah.
Be open to virtual internship opportunities too. I think
Mhm.
designers that are in metropolitan areas like cities may be busier than usual. So you may want to explore, a company in Philadelphia who's looking for a virtual intern. That may be
Yeah.
a possibility.
Oh yeah, I'll look into that. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
sure.
Okay. Okay, so thank you so much, Rasheeda, for speaking with me today. If you liked this episode, give us a like, share, and comment any questions you may have, and stay tuned for next week's episode of A Student's Perspective. Thank you.